individuals that are really, really excited to be in today's training. Today's training is going to be very short and punchy. I'm not going to waste too much time. So drop a one. And when you are dropping a one, would love to know where you are joining us from. All right. So if you're joining us from Canada, ensure to type that in the chat. Let's try to connect. All right. It's also an avenue to connect with one another. So I'm actually joining from Nigeria. I'll drop that in the chat. Nigeria. So let's see which country is most represented on the call. All right. So okay. It appears Nigeria is leading this. So no one is coming from Canada, just like me. So let's see. All right, so sorry about that. I'm back now. Yeah, so let's see if where you're joining us from. Try to drop that in the chat. Let's try to engage. And if you are joining us for the first time, indicate in the chat section. All right, so let's just get started so that A will just dive into the main meat of the call. So we're not going to spend too much time here on the call. So we're just going to have just an hour, 30 minutes maximum. Yeah. And he will do his stuff. If you know the topic we'll be walking you guys on today in terms of getting started as a data engineer, please drop that in the chat and the tools we will be using in today's session. I would love to know if you know why you are here. So yeah, I believe we dropped those the topic and the tools we'll be making use of in the community's chat box. So let's know those persons that are really set for today's session. So let's go. What's the topic and what tools are we going to be using in today's training? No one yet? I'm still okay, awesome. OJ, it looks like OJ is the only person that's really excited about today's session and knows what we'll be doing today. All right, so let's keep it coming. Drop the topic in the chat. Let's see. Please, hey, confirm if you can see my screen now.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
All right, super. Let's just get started into the main meet, yeah? So we don't waste too much time. All right, so in today's session, we're looking at building your first end-to-end web scraping ETL pipeline. And what are we going to be doing? We'll be scraping data from Jumia website using Python and SQL, all right? And to those joining us for the first time, here at Analytics, this is what we do. We breathe, we eat and breathe data. All right. So, and for us at Analytics, we started since 2020, and our main focus has been to help Africans and people of the Black community learn premium tech skills and lowering the entry barrier into tech. Our service offering cuts across different data capacities, ranging from data analytics down to business analysis, down to data engineering, down to data science, financial analytics, data AI engineering, cybersecurity, Scrum Master, and HR analytics. All right. And our facilitators cut across the major diverse sectors that you can think of, from PwC down to Deloitte, down to KPMG, down to the World Bank itself, down to Google, P&G, Sahara Group. You can think of any of those companies. Each of the facilitators are vast in what they do and are trailblazers in the sectors that they demand. All right. So our courses are actually structured in a way that it is 100% practical. And in today's masterclass, you would get a first feel of what it is to be part of analytics. Yeah, as I would always tell individuals, it's an 100% practical-based training. We're not coming here to just say stories. We'll show you how to make use of these tools. Yeah, individuals have been running away from Python. Individuals have been running away from coding. You would code today, right? But we will definitely break this into bits and pieces, right? So, who are the founders? Get to meet the founders of Analytics, Adeza and Efemena. So Adeza is the founder of Analytics, and he's also a data analytics expert. He has worked as a data science consultant in the UK and also the US. And also, before leaving Nigeria, he worked as a business data analyst with the Sahara Group Africa here in Nigeria. So he has close to a decade of experience in data analytics, management consulting. He has worked in sports, worked with the EdTech, also worked with energy and also automobiles and sectors. He himself personally has trained over 8,500 participants, and I believe that when you get started with analytics, you'll be part of those individuals Adeza would be impacting. Yeah, so you can get started in tech. Right. So moving on to Efemena. Efemena is the co-founder of Analytics, and he also has also contracted for some of the big firms in the UK and also in the US. He worked as the business data support lead at the Post Office UK, as a global system business analyst with Teleflex Ireland, and business intelligence developer with DPD Ireland as well. So he has experience cutting across data analytics, data science, data engineering, power platform development, and he has close to a decade of experience cutting across multiple sectors, right? Ranging from finance, management consulting, and their review. Right? So get to meet us, the individuals that will be at the forefront of your screens today. Yeah, I have my humble self, Elijah. I'm the growth lead at Analytics, and I have close to 4 years of experience NGOs, edutechs, finance, analytics. I've been able to empower. Hey, please confirm if you can still hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. Empower 3,000 Africans and people of the Black community to pursue rewarding tech careers, regardless of if they had prior experience in tech or not, through mentoring and training initiatives. All right. And this is my best friend, Dr. Eyi, and you see his profile, something very, very unique here. Yeah. So Eyi leads the data engineering program at Analytics. And you know, funny, not really a funny thing, but the amazing thing about Eyi is that he is a first-class pharmacist, yeah, that transitioned from pharmacy down to a certified cloud data engineer. Like I always tell persons, yeah, within the tech space, you don't need to probably have graduated from, let's say, computer engineering or data review. Okay, so in as much as you're ready to put in the work, you're ready to do the practical bits, and you're ready to get the needed knowledge to strive in this area, you can always get the work done. All right, so Dr. Eyi rather, is the first-class pharmacist that has transitioned from pharmacy to a cloud data engineer. And he has over 3 years of experience as a cloud data engineer deploying AWS, GPC, Azure across sectors like the healthcare, marketing, and financial technology. So he has passion for innovation, and that has set him aside as a valuable contributor to the data engineering ecosystem here in Nigeria and also globally. All right. So what will we be doing today? Okay, what will we be doing today? So number one, I would come in to walk you through on the practical bits of building your first end-to-end data web scraping ETL pipeline. Would have a deep dive into it, practical bit of scraping data using Python from the Jumia website. I would come in to walk you through on how you can get in-demand tech roles, yeah, regardless of the degree you are graduating from. Okay, I would show you the pathway, the career path to consider, and how you can also transition just like a did from pharmacy down to being a cloud engineer. All right, and I also come in also to speak on the upcoming practical cohort we'll be having in May 4th, and I'll share you some of success stories of individuals who never had any prior experience. They did what you are currently doing at the moment, trained for a period of 3-4 months, and they got their first job as a data engineer. All right, I'll share those success stories with you because they always say you go talk, tire. You just have to show evidence, right? So evidence will definitely do the talking for me today. Okay, I'll share those success stories for you, and I'll share you an insight into the fresh discounts we have for the month of May. All right, so Dr. A, are you there? You might want to take it away from here, and I'll be back immediately. You are done with the practical bit. All right, A, over to you.
Awesome, awesome. So thank you very much, Elijah. Thank you very much. Good day, everyone. Nice to meet you all again. My name is Dr. Ehi, and I will be sharing my screen shortly. Okay. So can we all see my screen? Awesome. Awesome. So let us get started. So in today's work, we would be looking at building together, we'll do this together, the first end-to-end web scraping ETL pipeline. And the goal of this pipeline will be to scrape data from the Jumia website using Python and SQL. And these are some of the tools that you'll be using in the course of your work. So let's look at this. Now, today, we are all, as the data engineers, we are all part of Joker Stores. So Joker Stores is a large vendor, laptop vendor on Jumia e-commerce. And their goal in today's work will be to analyze data on laptop sales or laptops available on the Jumia website. So in order to do this, they need to analyze this data to optimize it for business strategy. However, Jumia will not just wake up one morning and give you their data. It doesn't happen that way. So what do? They employ you, the data engineer, to design a system that can help them access this data. So you would get this data from the Jumia website, you will clean the data and load it into Joker Stores database. So basically, this case study will outline the process of which will create an automated system, will engineer an automated system that would web scrape this data from Joker's e-commerce platform, clean the data, transform the data, and load it into their server, their database server. And I'll show you all of this is done live. So what is the problem statement that we're going to be facing? Now, Joker Stores needs to access and analyze data from Jumia's e-commerce platform to make informed decisions about its laptop sales strategy. However, accessing this data requires scraping it from Jumia's website, cleaning the data, transforming it into a suitable format, and then loading the data to a company's database. Now, as data engineers, our job, our key ingenuity comes in because we are not just going to solve all of this, but we're going to automate it so that by just clicking on a switch, everything happens in a few seconds. So that is the aim of our building an efficient data ETL pipeline to automate the entire process. So what are the objectives? So our objectives to set to work, we are going to design a Python script that will scrape the data from the Jumia website, and particularly the laptop category. And we're going to try and, as much as possible, see how we can do basic cleaning and transformation on this data to put it in a suitable database format. Then afterwards, we're going to load this clean data into Joker Stores PostgreSQL server and automate the entire process to run periodically, step by step. So what are the benefits of this particular project? Here you will learn how to access real-time data on laptop sales on Jumia website, which will allow Joker Stores to make data-driven decisions. We'll learn about automation because through the use of an ETL process, which will help save time and eliminate manual intervention. Imagine if you had to do this. I think you come to see that Jumia has quite a number of pages. Imagine if you had to go there and pick each product one by one, name them. It will be a very lengthy process. But now you can do this in a little seconds. Now, regular updates. Now, with this system, you can be able to make regular updates onto Joker Stores database because all we just need to do is just to rerun the data pipeline from time to time. And if there are updates to Joker stores to Jumia's product line, we can be able to immediately make those updates into our database. And like I said, we cut out the manual process. And this, of course, will lead to improved business insights that leads to a better inventory management, pricing strategies, marketing campaigns, and ultimately increase sales and profitability, because that's what Joker stores want. So, what are the tech stacks we use? Now, it will surprise you to know that when you join this program, you'll be open to learning these and way lot more. This is just a tip of the iceberg. So you will learn about Python and SQL. This forms the basics and the foundation for data engineering. It's the core language that we'll build on, and the other things will not be building on the stacks. So you will, in this particular case study, we'll use Python, making use of certain libraries in Python, like request for web scraping, for sending requests to the HTTP servers. We use Beautiful Soup for passing the HTTP content. We use SQL Alchemy for interacting with our database. All of these are libraries available in Python. Then we'll take advantage of SQL. SQL, now I keep saying database. I'm sure many of you are like, oh, database, okay, yeah, it's using grammar. But database really serves, like, just think about them like the storage location where we'll be storing the data. Think about it, your normal computer that you're used to. You have your computer local disk where any information just stored on your computer local disk. But when we're not thinking about the company's data, we have to not think about it that, okay, this company's data needs to be stored somewhere, stored in a place that is accessible by everybody. So in that place, we make use of what, in that kind of scale, we make use of what we call databases for storing this information. So yeah, and to interact with this database, we use what we call SQL, and as it means structured querying language to query the database. Then finally, the particular database, there are different kinds of databases. When you come in, we'll tell you a lot more about them. But the particular database we'll be leveraging for this particular course will be the PostgreSQL database, which will be used to store the clean data and transform data. So when we come in more, we'll now talk about what these databases are, how they are differentiated, the different types of databases, and how to interact with them. Okay, so what are the requirements? Now, hopefully this video will be made available sometime in the future. So you can always rewatch this to get it. But it surprises you to know that with your laptop, you can do all of this. Everything I'm going to do today, you can reproduce it on your own. So what are the things you'll use? Of course, to work on this project, you need a good laptop. Preferably something that has a Windows OS, because that's what I'm going to be using, the Windows operating system. Minimum of 4 gig RAM is okay. You can have with the 4 gig RAM, you can install your necessary softwares you need to be able to run the codes that we're going to be working on today. Of course, you need good internet connection, because come on, how do you even access a website without internet connection? You're going to need very good internet connection. So you don't want to have the kind of network that every click you have to wait 2 hours. Of course, you're going to need a good internet browser. I use Google Chrome. That's awesome. So Google Chrome will be best. Then for the Python packages, we're going to use some packages or libraries. Now, what do we call library? Now, Python is a language that allows us to interact and code. But then again, in order to be able to use it, you think about it, everybody uses Python. Data scientists, data engineers, data web developers, software developers, everybody uses Python. Now, the guys that developed Python, yes, they developed the general language, but just like in English, where you have general English that everybody speaks, then there are vocabularies that are specific for different disciplines. In medicine, we'll say medical jargons. Engineering, we'll say engineering jargons. Agriculture, we say agricultural jargons. That's how it is in Python as well. The guys that designed the primary language designed everything that needed to be there. But they are what we call libraries that are utilized by different people depending on what you want to use it for. So these libraries are usually invented by the people that want to use it. So for example, if I'm a pharmacist, if I'm going to design a library for pharmacy functions, I will design it and publicly post it. So over time, being that a lot of people have used this language, these packages have been publicly made available. So for the area of web scraping, there are select libraries that are available to carry out this function. And the libraries we'll be using to these functions will be request and Beautiful Soup. That's what you can see here. So we'll also be making use of other libraries like pandas. Pandas will help us play around when we finally extracted the data from Jumia. How do we play around the data to clean it up and make it good? That's what pandas allows us to play with data. SQL Alchemy. Okay, now we've we've gotten the data, we've played with it, we've put it in a good format. We need to send this data to our database. How do we flow to do that? That's where SQL Architect comes in. It's a package that allows us to interact with our database. Then other softwares we'll use, we'll use pgadmin to be like the user interface, just like the software you interact with to see your database. So we'll all get to see how the database looks like, all the data in the database. For coding, we'll use VS Code. That's the Python ID that we'll come to use. When you come into the program, we'll teach you how to use different IDs for coding. So you can use VS Code, you can use Anaconda, you can use Collabs. We'll teach you about everything. But for this particular case, though, we'll use VS Code. Then Draw.io is the tool we use to draw our architecture, which I will show you our architecture. So this is it. This is the architecture. I'm sure all of you guys are seeing it now. All of you are feeling the mood of an engineer. Wow, this is interesting. Of course, yes. So this is the flow. We're going to extract data from Jumia. Then we're going to use our Python code to orchestrate everything, to plan everything, to write everything from the extraction phase to the transformation phase, and finally the loading phase in our Postgres SAM. At this point, is there anybody that does not understand the mental map of what we're going to do? If you do, give a one on the chat box. Just give a one on the chat. I understand. So I'm hoping to say a lot of ones. And if you do not understand, you can put a 0, 0, 0, 0. That's about Doc. Everything sounds interesting, but I have lost. Okay. Okay, I'm getting a lot of ones. So I'm guessing everyone is following. Awesome. That's good. So everyone knows the map. Everyone knows where we're going to. Now let's continue. So what is going to be the workflow? Real quick, and we're going to do this together to show you that it's very easy. This is what I feel is so complex, very easy to achieve this in milliseconds. So what's going to be the workflow? First things first, extraction. We're going to extract the data and transform the data in the form that is suitable for us, which will now end up by saving the file as a CSV file that we can read. When I save it, you can see that you can open the CSV file as a Excel sheet or with your spreadsheet or with Microsoft WPS, Google Sheets, any of them. We save it as a CSV file. Then we would load the data from that's the CSV file that we've saved. We're going to take it and now load it into our database. Chinedu is saying it's lost. Chinedu, maybe just type in real quick where you got lost so that we can bring you up to speed with everybody. So afterwards, after we've done, and I will show you all of these manually, and after we're done with all of this, we're not going to automate the entire process. So you now see how we engineer the entire process in an automated fashion. Okay, so by so doing, you get to see the pipeline at work. So this is the website where we're going to be extracting our information from. It's the website. So let us begin. How do we start? So we'll click on the website. So this is the website. We are on Jumia. So when you get to Jumia, what do? You want to get information from laptop. So we go to laptop. Search for laptop. So laptops opens up. You see, we have over this number of products found. And how many pages are we going to extract from? So we have over how many pages? We have 50 pages. 50 pages. Wow, that's a lot. So imagine we had to do all of these one by one. We're going to spend a lot of time doing this. So we have to now figure out, okay, how do we get all this information in such a way that we can extract everything very simple without breaking our head. So first things first, I'm going to open a folder on my computer so that we can start our work. So of course, all the requirements that I showed you guys, we already have them. I'm using a Windows operating system, 16 gig RAM, everything okay. So to code, I'm going to use my VS Code. So I'm going to open my VS Code. VS Code. So the this is my VS Code open. You see, just like how my folder is empty, my VS Code is empty as well. So I'm zooming so that you all can see clearly. So I'm guessing everybody can see this. So as you can see, my VS Code is empty, my folder is empty, and I'm going to start the work. So the very first thing I'm going to do is to create a file. So let me call this file Jumia ETL Pipeline .ipynb. Just follow me. Now, what ipynb means Python notebook. Python notebook, because what we are going to use, the primary language we are going to use is Python to do all of this. So first things first, we are going to work with a Python notebook. So the moment we did that, this created. Now, just to come back to our folder, if you check our folder again, what do you see? Ta-da! It's not created, but you see 0 KB because we've not done anything with the file. So this is think about this like we are all engineering this together. So all my junior engineers join me as we jump on this. So the very first thing we need to do, we need to install the packages that we're going to use. By default, I told you that we're needing this following set of packages. So we need request. We need what? Beautiful soup. Beautiful soup. We need pandas. And I said we need what? SQL alchemy. All the 4 packages we need. So we're going to install them. So how do we install them? Real quick. Without making assumption, we say pip install. So one by one, requests. I'm going to install request. So I can just copy the same thing and just be changing the different names. So paste 4 times. Make life easy for you. Then you put the other names. So we're going to install beautiful soup. Beautiful soup. Then we're also going to do the same for what? Pandas. And finally, we're going to do the same for SQL alchemy. So what is step 1? Step 1, install all the necessary tools we need. Now, I run. In order to run this, I will pick my correct Python environment. So let me just pick any of my Python engines. I have a lot, so pick one of them. So I'm just going to show you that this is step 1, which is step 1, installing all the libraries. That is step 1. So when step 1 has worked, because that's the next thing we're now going to do, which is what? Step 2. We're going to import them. Now remember that I told you that it's not like the general English. There's a general thing, but then again, when we're not going to use these jargons in our notebook. So we need to bring them into our notebook. So that's what we do next, which is step 2. Import all the necessary what? Libraries. So that's step 2. That's what we're going to do. So to import them, we'll start. We're going to import first request. So this one is already running. Once you run, you should see a response. So requests, we're going to import. Then we're going to import beautiful soup. So for beautiful soup, this is the command from BS4. For beautiful soup 4, we're going to import beautiful soup. We're going to import beautiful soup. Then pandas, we're going to also import pandas. Because these are all the tools that we would need for our work. So pandas, why I say PD? Because when I'm going to use these tools importing, I'm going to need to type pandas. So imagine I had to use pandas like 10 times. Pandas. That would be very long. So I used an acronym, hence why I said import pandas as PD. So that this is like a conventional way of doing it in practice. Conventional way of doing this in practice. So the final thing I'm going to import was what? SQL Alchemy. So let's do that. So from SQL Alchemy, I'm going to import create underscore engine. Now, someone asked, what is the difference between a .py and .ipynb file? A .py file is basically called a script. Notice that in this my notebook, it's basically a notebook. It has a place for cell, and every time you run it, it brings out an output, like something like this now. But in a script, there's nothing like that. It's just like a plain page, just like your foolscap sheet, just a plain page. So the idea is that a script is used for automation. And this is just for coding in like a testing type of format. When you code, you run to test the result. The code you run to test the result. And that's basically how that works. So that's the difference. Awesome. So imports, run our imports. So after we run our imports, the next thing. Now the first step of every web scraping journey is to check the status code of the platform. Why is this important? You want to check if this platform will even allow you to scrape from the website. Because a website will not allow you to scrape. It will return a negative status code. Remember when you're trying to browse, when your internet connection is down, or server is clouded, or the website server is down, you get some errors, error 404, error 4. Those errors actually mean something, because in actuality, what you're trying to do is that you're trying to probe to access the server on the other hand where the cloud is hosted. So if the server is down for anything, you get an error message. And all of these messages mean something. You just never realized it. And I will show you today. So the next thing we're going to do, which is step 3, we're going to what? Probe for response. And the response we want to get is response 200, which means success. Now, some of you will ask me, Doc, how do we know all the different responses? They are very easy. Let's go to our browser and check for HTML response codes. Exactly. So we'll search for it, HTML response codes. You'll see the different response codes that you get when you browse, and you get to know what they mean. So we are looking for response 200, and you get to see that. So you see different responses. Successful messages, responses mean 200 to 239. You see all those error message. Let's see one that is very popular. Error 400. When you check it, you see what it means. See 400 means bad request. Your server is down. All those kind of things. For what we're interested in is what? A response 200, telling us it's okay, we can web scrape from this website. So how do we get this response? How do we do it? Go back to our code. So first things first, we need to put the URL of the website, which I will get from the link. So we are coming to this Jumia website. We're going to copy the link and paste it real quick. So upon pasting, this is where our request function that we imported, our request library, that is where we're not going to use it. So you see why we needed to use it, import it in the first, because if you're going to import it, how are we going to use it? It's not going to fall out of thin air. So real quick, we are going to use it here. So we say requests dot get. Don't worry if I'm just going to explain what each code at every point in time is doing. When you come into the training in total, you will get this thing in detail. So for now, just follow me along as I go through. Okay, someone asked about the beautiful soup. Now look at it here that I called it beautiful soup 4. That was why when importing. Now why is that? That is the rule for installing beautiful soup. That is how you install beautiful soup. You say the name of the full library is called beautiful soup 4, but the package we need in there is called beautiful soup. That's fine. So thank you for noticing that, Godfrey. So we can proceed to say print R, and let's see what it tells us. Remember, we want to get what? A response 200. Beautiful. So are we good to go? We are good to go. So we are good to go. So now let us proceed to actually we're scraping the data. So let's start with our extraction, which is what? Step 4. Step 4, extraction. So to extract the data, we're going to extract this data step by step, step by step. So first things first, I can copy this aspect, data in here, code in here. Then we'll proceed. Now I'm going to need to now integrate my request with my soup, because what request does is that request is, remember that we're not browsing right now. Our Python notebook is supposed to be able to access those web servers as though we're browsing. And what helps us do that is this request function. It helps us interact with the web server as though we were browsing. Now, when we finally interact, we're going to need to get this information. So we're going to need to use Beautiful Soup to interact with requests, whereby we're not just saying, oh, we have access web server. Okay, now that we're access web server, let's get the information we need. So that's what we're going to do here. That's the next step. So that's what we use Beautiful Soup for. So say r.txt, comma, lxml. So by doing this, if I show you soup now, what this will now bring out is that it will bring out the results of that page. Now you see that website, that whole website that was built. It will bring out the entire code used to build the website, so you can see. So this is from, so that whole website, this whole page you're looking at now, how do you know that it's correct? Let me show you something that you never knew existed. When you right click on your browser and you check this inspect, you'll see the HTML code that was used to build this website from beginning to end. Every aspect of the code, you can see it. And for example, now what coded this part is this section here. What coded this part is this section here. Now, look at the information from the beginning. See how it started. Let's go back to our notebook and look at it. Are we saying it's exactly the same thing? So slowly entering it step by step, step by step. Now, what are the products? What are the information we need from this website? We want to get the product name. We want to get the current price. So let's look at it together. Let's see. The product name, the current price. Some of them even have old price. So let's get that as well. Then finally, we want to get this discount information. Can we get all of this? What do you all think? Can we get it? Awesome. So yes, we can get it. And it's very easy, very straightforward, not mind-boggling thing to do. Now to get it, HTML codes come in what we call tags and attributes. I'm not going to bug you with it. They're basically those information or key things that they use to code different sections of a website. So our key goal to scrape is to find out the tag and attributes for that aspect and scrape all the information. The idea is that in a website, even if there are 1 million products, many a times, information used to scrub to code things like the name of the product, the price of a product is usually the same tags and attributes. The only thing that tends to change is, okay, for product A is this name, product B is this name, product C is this name, because nobody has the time to using different types of attributes for different things. So if we know that, it means that we can use those same tags and attributes to find all the names at once, find out the price at once, and that's the idea. That's the trick. Very simple. And when we come into the training, I'll show you how to do this much more in-depthly with more detail. But that's the idea. So get what I'm saying. For example, now, this is what we call a tag, this head. That's something that has an opening and an end. It's what we call a tag. Then an attribute is these kinds of things that are inside a tag. Like for example, now, this HTTP from the beginning to the end, this is the tag. Now, inside this tag, you are seeing this lang, DRI. That is the attribute. So that is the information we need. That's the information we're going to get. Now, some of you ask me, but Doc, how will you get this thing? Do I need to start going through this map of details to get all these things? No, there's a very, very, very simple shortcut way to do it. How is it? For example, I want to get just, so I click on this, my arrow button here. I click on it. So I want to get the title and now go to the exact points I need an information. You see that it highlighted itself, and I click on it. Automatically on this side, it showed me the tag, which is H3, as you all can see. And it also showed me the attribute, which is class name. So I have all I need. Now that I know that, let us proceed to coding it. So how do we code it? How do we code it? So first is we want to get the product name. Product name. Very easy. So we say in something in a variable called name, we say soup dot find all bracket. So what is the tag? H3. Very simple. What is the attribute? Class. That's the name of the attribute. So what is the name of the class? I think the class name was called name, but let's confirm that. Let's confirm that. Yes, we're right. It was called name. So we can just put it in. Name, class name. So that is it. That's all. So when I extract it, I want to put all those names inside a container, something like a container that can contain everything. So that is what, and when you come into the program, we'll teach you about them. They're called lists. So I'm going to put everything inside a list that encapsulates everything. So I'm going to call this list what? My product name equals to, make it empty first. Now, the idea is that I want to be attaching each product into the list one by one so that all the products will enter there once. To do that, I will use what we call a loop. So I'll say for name, let me call this one names. So for name in names, that's the idea. I'm going to attach to each product names the name. So basically, what this part of my code will do, it will find out all the products that have, because if you check, all products are using the same tag, all product names are using the same tag. You can check to confirm. Let's even confirm that right now. So we solve for this. Let's check for the next tag product name. What do you notice? The same tag and attribute. Let's check for the same. The same tag and attribute. Is that not correct? Let's check for the same. The same tag and attribute. So it means that all the product names are using the same tag and attributes. So it means I can find all of them. So that's what that will do, is to find all of them. And once it finishes finding all of them, it will put them inside that list. So dot name dot text. So run that. That's done. Script. How do we confirm that? Let's check. What do we see? I'm sure somebody say, wow. If you've enjoyed it up to this point, give me a 1 on chat. Also, very easy. If you have a couple of seconds, we're almost done. 12 minutes, we're done. So, product name. Now we're going to do the same for the price, old price, new price. Awesome, I'm getting a lot of ones. That's good. That's good. So before you know it, you guys will have done your first project as data engineers. Awesome. So we're going to do the same for exactly the rest, and it's basically the same procedure. Nothing really changes. The same procedure. So this one, we're going to call it current price. So current price. Current price. So what's happening there? Under current price, I am going to create my empty list. Then as usual, soup, or in a price, in a variable name, I'm calling new prices. Just like I did for names. I'm going to say soup dot find underscore all brackets. It's just like how I did for the first one. So now we're going to go to find the tags. So let's click, and this is for current price. I'm going to click on it. So you see that the tag here is div. The class is what? This. So Another way to do it, you can actually highlight everything here and copy. So let me just copy this and come here. So here I call it, the tag is what, div, we all saw that, and the class is this. So just one other revision I need to make to that. So finally, we'll now say for price in new prices, current price brackets price. Also, that's it. And we run that. Now let's check what current price is. Voila. Okay, so this one even came out slightly different. So I want just the text inside. So I'm going to add that. Okay, so it's just going to give me the current price. When I did it before, I printed everything. We don't want everything, we just want the price. So instead of writing all of these codes again and again, I'm just going to just copy and paste and show you guys how to we're just going to copy and paste and edit. So we're going to do the one for what? Old price. Old prices, or call it formal price. Formal price. So here, we're going to change the name to what? Formal. It's called price. Here we'll call this old price. So for price in what? Old prices, append to what? Formal price. That's what we're going to do. So now let's go and check the information on what formal price was. So we'll just click on that again and put that here and click. So you see that it's similar, but in this case now the tag is what? The attribute is old instead of this one that the attribute was PRC. So we're just going to copy that old and go and paste it here. So we change that to old. So when we run this now, that should run, and let's check for formal price. It's in on the formal price, which is slightly different from that. Awesome. Awesome. So finally, the last thing we said we were going to check for was for the discount. So we're going to come here and that. So we're going to say discount percentage. So we're going to call this discount percentage. So this we'll call discounts. So for this in discounts. So where we are going to replace this with what? Discount price, append to discount price, and what we're going to be appending this. So now let us go and check the information for discount to get that. So we put our cursor here and we get that. So look at that. So we see that this is the tag is similar, but now the attribute has changed. And of course, if you check the attributes for others, you see that it's basically the same to all. Not all of them have discount. But if you check, exactly the same attributes. So similar thing. Just copy that and we go and paste that here. Paste that there. Oh, sorry, wrong place. Paste it under here or something. So we run this. Now let's check for discount percentage. Discount underscore percentage. So let's check for that. Are you seeing all the discounts? So we have done this. Awesome, right? Now we've gotten all the data we need. How do we put this data together into a table and you interact with it? This is where the ingenuity of engineering comes in. So we are going to put them together inside what we call a dictionary. And I'm not talking about the dictionary, where you open and checking for words and English and not that. In Python, what we call a dictionary is something that we can use to encapsulate something similar to a list like this. That's encapsulation. But the only difference is that, unlike a list that you just jumble everything together, a dictionary will now have like tags for the different things. So each item you are putting has its tag, just like how you would say, like this. Now, this is a list of discounts, but you don't really know because it doesn't have a tag to tell you that this is discount. Just because when creating it, we knew that it was discount. But now in a dictionary, each thing will have their tag. And let me show you how that is created. It's created with what? Curly brackets. So that's what we're going to use to put all our information. So the first one, we're going to call it what? Name. That's the first tag. What information are we going to put there? We're going to put our product names. So the next item is going to be what? Current price. Current price. Small letter for this. So that's the name of the tag. And what item are we going to put there? That current price item that we created. So the next thing is going to be what? Former price. So this is, and all these tags that we're going to put, later on, they are going to form the column names of the table. So just note them. So former price. And what information are we going to put there? The former price that the list of former price that that's what's going to form the data. So finally, we're now going to have what? The discounts. So I'm going to call this table the discounts. Under discount, what is going to be there? The discount percentage. Just to be sure that that is correct. Yes, that is correct. The discount percentage that we are creating. Just to be sure. Awesome. So that is the dictionary. We've created our dictionary now. Now that I've created our dictionary, what is the next step? Now, the next step is we're not going to put all this dictionary into a table. So let's call this table the laptop table. Let's just call it the laptop table. So now that we have the laptop table, we're going to say use this. Remember, I told you that to play with data, when we have the data, we're going to use this package at the beginning, what I called pandas that I imported here. And I will use that alias for it, PD. So that is what we're now going to use here. Because we're now we've gotten the data, we've extracted the data. Now we want to put it in the table. So to play with it, we use pandas. And this is the function that is here. So not just that, it's gotten from the dictionary. So just that's the hard code. Don't let the heavy code bulk you. When you join the program, you'll learn more about the codes. So equals to index. So then finally, then I'll say laptop on equals to. Let me just show you this like this. So when we run this, this should run fine. You get to see the table. So let's run this. So that has run. Now let us view the table. Let's view the table. Now you see how the table came. This is the table. But the table came out in the wrong way. It's rather than being positioned vertically, it's more or less tilted. And this is what I wanted to show you guys. So what do? We have to turn it back. That is where the transpose function comes in. So I'm now going to say laptop equals to laptop dot transpose. Then when I show you laptop again, you see how it looks. I will say now it's correct. We have our data. Who's excited at this point? Also, now as you can see, we have 40 rows. Numbering in Python starts from 0, so from 0 to 39, that's basically 40 rows. Now it shows us that on this page we have basically 40 products. This is manual. Now imagine if I wanted to now start doing it page by page manually. In data engineering, we have to think of how do we automate things? How do we automate things? Okay, so let me show you a very simple logic. That's where the concept of some, when they say common sense comes in. So how many pages are here? I go to the end. What do I see? 50 pages. Okay, so I can rewrite this to be able to run through 50 pages and give me the information I want. So just to show you as a confirmation that we had 40 columns. If I say laptop.shape to show me how many, the shape of the data, you'll see the shape of the data. It will tell you 40 columns, 4 rows. So now we want to edit this to go through all 50 pages and give us the information. How do we do that? We say, okay, if pages equals to, so we're going to create a list for pages. And in this list for pages, we say, create numbers from number 1 to 50. So X for X in range 1 to 50. Now, when putting a range in Python, it's very fun. You will not say, if I'm saying I want to start from 1 and end in 10. It doesn't work that way in Python. We'll say I want to start from 1 and end in 11. So Python will count from 1 to 10 and leave at 11. That's how Python works. I don't know why they designed it that way. The guys that designed it, that's how they did it. So if we want to create a list of 1 to 50, we will not end at 50. We'll range the range to 51. So if you do 1 to 50 and leave at 51, that's how Python does it. So we'll create our pages. Then we basically are going to then now use those pages. We're going to do it in such a way that we'll now take Python, start from 1, extract all the information, and continue doing it until you get to 50. After you now get to 50, put everything inside the table like this. And I'll show you, there's a common sense. I'll show you the simple, easy way to do it. We've already written all the codes before, so we're just going to be copying and pasting, that's all. So first things first, I come to first copy all the empty lists that Python will put in everything. So I'll come here, copy. And basically, I can even copy everything. So copy this. I have to be copying multiple times. So I do that, and what? I paste that here. I paste that here. I take this out and leave it here. So shift it to the end. So I do the same for the next one. Same for the next one. So that's current price. So I want Python to do everything once, or like when I did it one by one. So show you how we do it everything once. So afterwards, I cut this out. So I'm just setting up everything. So you guys will now come to see how it will apply. So the next one, for the other 2 data sets that we're getting. So we have formal price, copy that. So highlight this out. So then finally, do that real quick for the last one. It doesn't take much time. We've already written the codes. We're not writing much code. Just copying and pasting largely and editing it in such a way that everything we want to do is done. So cut out this one, paste it here, then put this together. So now that we've done all that, what is the next thing? We now need to give it the instruction on what Python should do. So to do that, we'll put it in what we call The idea of a loop is that continue repeating until the condition is met. So first things first, how do we set our condition? So we say for page in what? Pages. That's in each page, go one by one, start from number 1 to number 50. So afterwards, what do we do? Carry out this instruction. But what instruction? What instruction? Because basically say, well, if we just run it like this, Python is just going to be repeating everything over and over again until 50 times after, and it will just be extracted from one page. So we need to set the rule well. How do we set the rule? So first things first, this is my beginning code. I need to set it in such a way that Python will go through all the pages. Let me show you the code. Now remember this code. This is the first part that we're going to need to edit. Now it's just set to page 1, but we're not going to need to edit it. That Python will change the pages. And how do we do that? So I'm copying this code here, and I'm pasting it under my instructions that I gave Python. So paste it under my instructions. So, but then again, I have not specified to Python that it should change page by page. So how do I do that? Very easy thing. I don't need this part anymore. I don't need to fill up the whole page. So how do I do that? Very easy thing. So we'll go to Jumia. Now, see how Jumia rearranges when it's going page by page. Notice that the only addition it did was not to add this part to the block. So I'm just going to copy this now. This link instead. And go back to my cell and paste it there. So I paste it there. Now, this is this number that is the ingenious thing. I want that number to be changing from number 1 to number 50. So to do that, there's a method we use to do that, which we'll teach you when you join the program. It's called F formatting. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to place this into a dictionary in curly brackets, then replace that with what? Page. So that means that as the page number is changing, the page number in the link will also change. And once it changes, it will read through page 1, extract everything, read to page 2, until it gets to 50. That's how it will do it. So we've set up all the conditions. Now, after everything has finished extracting, what should you now do? Remember what we did here? That's what we're now going to do. We're going to copy this aspect of the code, put everything into a dictionary that has tag. Remember, when we do that, it will slant. So finally, we're going to return it back to normal. Then show you code. So let's cut out this part so that we'll see. Now, this is it. This is so in a full setting, this is the one thing we are just even run, and it will extract all 50 pages. So let's do that and see. Now this code might take a while. It might actually take a while because you know why? It's 50 pages. So Python will start rolling. I think when I ran this in the first time, it took like almost 3 minutes. Well, we're here together. So let's just prepare the remaining things. So to be sure that everything worked fine, we're going to check the new shape. So we're going to check the new shape. If the new shape works fine, automatically we would get what? Over 40 pages. So if we're saying 40 items per page for 20 pages, that's 40 times 20. We should be getting a lot of results. So let's just see. Maybe so I'm anticipating that some pages might not have up to 40. So let's just check out how everything. Okay, 40 times 50. Okay, 50 pages, 40 items. So ideally, we should have at least 2,000 products at the end of the day. So if everything is correct, we should see the results here. So after that part has been completed, the next thing we're now going to do finally is to now save the data as a CSV. So saving the data as a CSV. Save the data as a CSV. So how do you save it? We'll say laptop dot 2_CSV bracket. So what do we call the data? Jumia laptop data. We're gonna call it what? .CSV. So I'm not going to run this now. I want all of this to run. You see, it's still scraping, it's still running. This is why you need a computer that has a little power so that it can process this real fast. So if your computer is 2 gig RAM, yeah, you probably will be spending a lot of time here. So awesome. So when all of that has done, the final step will now be what? Loading the data, which will be step, I think that should be step 5. Loading the data to database. So this is still running. I think it took about 3 minutes. So I'm guessing by 3 minutes you run completely on the data. But while we wait for that, I'm going to open a database to show you how a database looks like. So I'm guessing we're all excited. So the database we use is pgadmin database we use. So I'm going to open the PostgreSQL pgadmin interface for you to look at it. So the database is actually a PostgreSQL server, but for the interactor, what we use to interact is the UI we use to interact it. We use pgadmin. Very easy to use and navigate. So basically, I will show you in the training how to set up, use, play around with pgadmin. Play around with pgadmin. So it's coming up. So this is how my pgadmin looks like. So I'm guessing our scraping should be almost completed pretty soon. So let's wait. While we're waiting for it, let us set up our pgadmin so that you guys can get acquainted with the interface. So that when we load the data, you can see it come alive on our database. See everything. Interesting. So afterwards, I will now automate everything. And you're like, wow. So this is how the data engineering is. Exactly. That's what we do. So pgadmin is coming up. Awesome. So this has run completely. Now this will calculate the shape. So to tell us how many data is there. Voila. What did we see? 2000. Success. Success. Now we can save it as a CSV. Notice nothing is here. Let me go back to our folder as well. Notice nothing is here. Now we are going to save it. We are going to save it. So we run this cell. The very moment this is successful, you should see the file appear here. So just a couple of seconds. So voila, what do we see? See the file. So this file is a CSV file. Are you seeing it? So, and if you go to the folder, you also see it there. As a file, you can open it with Excel. You can look at it anywhere. You can open it with Google Sheets, WPS, Excel, anything. You can open it there. Okay, I think the pgadmin I was trying to open failed, so I'm just going to open it again so that you all can see the launcher. So that is your CSV file. Now, the final part of our work now will be loading this data into our database. The data doesn't exist. We are going to be the one to load it there ourselves. So when the database opens up now, I'm going to show you how it does. But while that is opening up, let us write the code to show you guys how we do this, how we open it up, how we load it. So first things first, in order to be able to connect to the database, we're going to need to set up the connection. So we're going to need to what? Define the database connection parameters. That's what we're going to need to do. And to do that, so let's just call these database parameters. I'm just going to use a shortcut format to name it. So we'll put that in the dictionary. So first things first, what are the informations we need? We need the username. That's the first connection information. So my database has just opened. Look at how it is. This is how the database is. So we are not hosting anything on the cloud, so we're going to connect it to show us our different server. By default, when you install Postgres, it allows you access what we call the local server. So I'm not going to use money to run this local server. This one is hosted on your computer. So you see that there are different databases there. This is the one by default. So all of these ones were the ones we created in class with students. So students that created all of this one. You see the internship currently running and they're using that database. So the database we're going to be using is the one that comes with your computer. We're going to be using this one, Postgres. So let's see if any table is there. Now, all these tables, I'm going to delete all of them. These were tables I created past classes. So just going to delete all of them real quick. Then you see that we're going to start from afresh. There's nothing going to be there. And by the time we're finished loading our data, you will see the table being loaded in this database. And it's this database that will now be made public to your company. Everybody in your company can access this database to interact with this database. And you, the data engineer, you're the one that's going to be the engineer to engineer this database, create it out of non-existence, and manage this database. So look at it. This is our public database schema. Let me refresh. Notice nothing is here. Check the table now. The table is empty, nothing. So now when we are done, you'll see everything appear. So real quick, the code is very short, and this is like the last step in the whole thing before we automate it. So look at everything. Very short sets of code. So first things first, the information we're going to use is the username. And the username for that database is what? Postgres, as you guys saw. Postgres, that's the username. Come on. Then I'm going to need to use the password. Now, the password is often the password you use when setting up the connection. Or for me, in this case, when I was installing it, which for me is not hard. My password is basically password. It's a public thing, so it's a freebie server, so there's no hiding. If it's company server here, I will not teach you ways to hide these things because of our training. But for this tutorial, let's just use this. So host, because this is hosted on my computer, the host is what? Localhost. Localhost. And finally, the database. The database we are working with is the Postgres database. So we're going to use the what? Postgres database. So that's all you need for the connection details. Once you have this, you're good to go. The connection details is set. Now, the next thing we're now going to need to define is our connection parameters. So we're going to need to what? Define database connection URL. So, and to define it, we'll use all these parameters we specified above to define it. So I'm going to call this db underscore URL underscore with d. That's what I'm going to call it. So database URL database. So first things first, we're going to use an F string, and we'll start. This hard URL is usually written. So Postgres SQL : // then you're not going to be defining your parameters. So db underscore params. So the first thing that we're going to put there is what? The username. Username. So what I'm going to do now is, okay, this is going to cover the list. So because I'm going to be doing this multiple times, in order to prevent the repetition, I'm just going to copy this aspect. So after username, there's a colon followed by the next thing that is often pasted. Why it's taking time? DB. So DB underscore params followed by what? Now we have what? Password. And afterwards, there's a what? A @ Then the next thing that's supposed to follow that @ is what? Your port, so, or host rather. So db underscore params, then my host. After my host, and there's a colon again, followed by db underscore params, followed by and that's where we take my port information. Then finally a forward slash, which will now finally take my what database name, db underscore params, brackets, my what database name. So we are trying to define the link that we'll be using. So it's best to use my double colon for link definitions because I have single apostrophe mark in here. So is this link I will now use to design the engine that I will use to connect. So the whole idea is that first things first, first step, set your database parameters using the connection information. Then use this information to form a connection link. After forming a connection link, the next step will now be to create the engine, the database engine. To create the database engine. And to create the database engine, remember that I used SQL Alchemy at the very beginning to import this function called create engine from SQL Alchemy. So that is where we now get to use that engine in here. In here, I get to use that engine. How do I do it? How do I use this engine? So how do we do it? So we say with engine, sorry. So engine, we have to first define the engine. Engine equals to create underscore engine in brackets, and I can now put this connection link. So that URL I created, that's what I'm not going to paste it here. DB underscore URL. For some reason, my system is slowing down. So, okay. So finally, the next step is now we have our engine. The next step is now to use our engine to load our data into our database. How do we do that? So we're going to use our engine to connect to Postgres SQL server. How do we do that? So we say with engine dot connect brackets as connection. Very short, very simple code. As connection. So afterwards, we can now write the code to load our data. So remember our data frame was called laptop. Our table was called laptop. 2 underscore SQL in brackets. So what do we want to call the table? Let's call the table. That's what do we want to call the table on the Postgres server when the table appears. Let's call the table Jumia products. Let's call the table Jumia products. Of course, we'll set up our connection. So put connection. Index equals to false. And if the table exists, we have to set a condition for if the table exists. If the table exists, it should not bring out an error. Instead, it should just replace the table. So that's the condition we put in place. Should be a situation whereby you want to run this code when the table like that exists. So after everything is done, how should we know the entire code works? We should get a congratulatory message telling us that database table laptop and data has been loaded successfully. So that's all, and we're done. So if our code is correct, everything is correct, we should get a success message. So we run. Okay, so all of this was running as a markdown. So I'm going to just copy, highlight everything here. Sorry. Oh. So I created markdowns, not cell blocks. So create a cell block. Paste that in exactly. So that's everything as a cell block. Okay. So everything being correct, we should get a congratulatory message. So let's run that. So if our data, if everything is correct, we should get a congratulatory message. Yes, there's an error somewhere here. Now, there's supposed to be a point there. So that's one thing about Python. If there's an error anywhere, even one thing, Python will tell you. So let's run again. Everything is correct. She gets database team. This is just the response we get if everything is correct. So let's wait. So Python is telling us that there's an error somewhere in line 7. Okay, so let's look at it closely. So this is line 7. It's telling us that there's an error somewhere. Okay, so this is params, not param. Okay. So let's run again. Okay, it's telling us there's something that is not closed. Okay, so there's an error here. So this is supposed to have a colon. So this is how you correct most of your errors. If not, you'll keep having issues. As long as the code is not correct, it will not run. Okay, so we did not define ports, but we called ports here. You see, Python is telling us that port has not been defined, and that's true. We did not define ports. So let's define ports now. Interesting. Say, Doc, that's what it did. Yeah, so that's how it is. And you guys saw me coding this live with you. So run that now. Again. Voila. What do we see? The success message. The success message. Now that we've seen this success message, let's go back to pgadmin. Remember, there's nothing here. Let me refresh again. What do we see? Ta-da! Our data. Let's see the columns. What do we see? Our columns. And finally, let's see the data. Let's view the first 100 rows. Voila! Who's excited? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, this is everything manually done. Let's automate. Now, to automate, we're not doing anything extra at all. All we are doing is just basically copying and pasting. So how do we automate? Someone asked about a Python script, and this is where a Python script is now used. So from here, I'm going to create Python script. I'm going to call it Jumia dot underscore ETL dot py. So this is the Python script. You see it's empty. There's nothing there. So I'm just going to open it side by side so that I can be copying and pasting and you guys can be seeing it. So see the Python script, I've opened it to the side. This is my main file. So basically, remember, I had to show you guys step by step. But now that I want to automate the process, I don't need to do it step by step anymore. I can just go straight to the point. So the first thing was that import our dependencies, which we did. Step 1. Step 2, extract the data. I don't need to be doing it one by one anymore. We'll just go straight to the place that extracted all 50 pages at once. What do we do? Copy from here. paste it here. Then we come to this point here, and where we save the data is this. And finally, the loading part of our code. Copy this, paste it, and voila, what do we have? Our Python script. Our Python script. So I can close this now. Now, if I open this here, you guys will see our Python script. So if I run this script, by default, everything should be automatically loaded. And that is the pipeline that you guys get to see. How do we do this? Come here. Now, just to show you, I'm going to delete this data so that you see how it will script this data from the beginning to the end. So I'm going to remove this data now. I'm going to delete it. Then also from the database, I'm also going to delete this one that we created. So you guys will see the pipeline run live. I'm going to delete that one that we created. So you notice it's not there, nothing. So we're going to run this Python script live together in a pipeline version, and you guys will see it. So how do we do that? I open your command line environment. So I open one. Very straightforward thing. So I'm in my command line environment. See the black interface. So people always ask, this is where hackers used to steal. Yeah, kind of. They can access your system from here. So I'm going to need to navigate to this folder. Inside this folder I am in, I'm going to need to go to that folder from my command line prompt. How do I do that? So I'll come here and copy the file path. So come here, copy the file path, then go back to this command line prompt and say cd and paste the command line the path. Enter. Notice that it didn't change from users prints to this. How do I confirm? Let me write the code to view all the folders, all the files inside this folder. Yeah, right. Are you noticing that only two files are present? This Jumia ETL, just like as you've seen. Let me refresh this because we know that we've deleted the file. Notice the CSV file is no longer there. So correct. Only this ETL file and pipeline. Now, I will deleted it from our Postgres server. So meaning by default, if we run this pipeline now, the only result we want to get is the congratulations message. Our database, everything has been loaded successfully. And our everything will appear. The CSV file will create to go scrape, do everything automatically. How do we do that? Say Python space, the name of the file, which is Jumia _etl.py. And we enter. So we're just going to wait for a bit. We're just going to wait for a bit. So I can open this our VS Code so we can, as we are waiting, we'll be looking at it. The only thing we want to see is our congratulatory message. So while we're waiting, once the CSV file has script completed, once that step has been done, you will see the CSV file appear. So now proceed to loading. Then you will see the congratulations message. So just wait for a bit. Remember that we're scraping 50 pages, so it's about 3 minutes. So at this point, while we are waiting and chilling and enjoying ourselves, anyone can feel free to ask me anything, and I can feel free to answer at any point in time, any step. But we're done. This is our pipeline, and we're just waiting for our pipeline to run. Okay, for why my CMI is showing an Accommodate prompt. Now, this is because the particular CMI extension I connected to was that of an Accommodate prompt. I could have run the same thing on my normal computer CMI. That is my normal computer command line prompt. I can run it from anywhere, even my git bash command line prompt. I can run it from anywhere. I just chose to use my Anaconda. Why? Because when running this code, you notice I installed PySpark and all. I mean, I installed pandas and all of those things, and all of them were installed on the Python that was linked to my Anaconda. So that's why I used the Anaconda command. Well, I can do it anywhere, so I'm not limited to doing it on Anaconda prompt. So thank you, AY, for your question. Any other questions? Remember, 3 minutes, so our stuff is scraping. You're welcome, AY. I'm guessing our stuff is still scraping from the 50 pages. Any other question? Question? Anybody? So once it's done scraping, you should see the data appear here immediately, and you should get a congratulatory message. Definitely, you can have more than one ID on your computer. I use VS Code, I use Anaconda, and Anaconda has Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, Spider. Voila, what do we see? What, guys, what did we see? Congratulations. What did you see? Your data. Now let's go back to PG admin and see. Let's say nothing is here. Let's refresh. What do we now see? The data set. Now, if you open it up, you can see all 2,000 rows. So, thank you very much, guys. You guys have been a very wonderful audience as you followed me. Yes, there are ways to orchestrate this process. You can use Windows Task Scheduler if you want to use the Windows method. You can use cron jobs on a Linux machine. You can use Airflow to orchestrate. Multiple ways this can be orchestrated. The idea was to show you how to do this manually in batch process. When you join the program, we show you, we teach you all of these methods. We teach you how to use Airflow. We teach you how to use even cloud tools for orchestration. So thank you so much, guys. You guys have been a very wonderful audience, and I'm glad that you guys could be on this journey with me. You got to see your pipeline from beginning to end, and I'm sure that some of you guys are already wearing the data engineering cap. So Elijah, feel free to take over, and I'm still on ground to answer any questions. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, awesome. That was a very, very brilliant. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to switch off my. Okay, good. I don't know if guys, if you enjoyed this session, please drop in a one. Drop a one in the chat. If the 1 hour 30 minutes was a very useful time for you, did we waste your time? Drop in a one in the chat to show that you gained a lot of value. I'm even trying to, I'm now thinking of moving into data engineering. I might have to leave my current career path because I think this is fantastic. Actually, I love the way you broke everything down, insightful. And this is what we tell people. Yeah, when you get into the training program here at Analytics, you get to learn things bit by bit. You actually, we started from somewhere and we got to where we are. Okay, and you can see how magical it is. Yeah, so for individuals that wait till the end of the session, all right, you would get access to the recording. So let's just quickly dive into, like I mentioned to you guys, I'll be coming in to share how you can get started as a data engineer without no prior experience. So I'll just do that within the next 30 minutes. I'm not going to waste too much time, right? Just spare me the next 30 minutes. I'm going to show you guys this my slide, then we'll get started immediately. All right, please confirm that you can see my slide, so I can just get started immediately within the next 30 minutes, so we can show the audience what it is like, getting started in tech and as a data engineer with analytics. Please confirm.
I can see your slide.
Okay, great. Okay, super. All right, so now
I can see your slide.
Okay, good. So now this is the program overview. All right, so it's an 100% online training and virtual instructor-led. So what does virtual instructor-led means? Just like how A came on board, showed you a screen, walked you through the process. So it's virtual instructor-led. So we're not just giving you the program, the course curriculum to go study it on your own or probably share videos for you. No, you would get to be handheld throughout your journey. Yeah, in analytics, getting started as a data engineer. All right, so throughout the course of the program, there is no coming to speak story. Yeah, so from the beginning to the end of what I showed you guys, they were practicals. All right, so you have hands-on practicals with video exercises and projects to work on. Today, we just showed you guys how to scrape data from a website using Jumia as a case study. Yeah, so you can also, with this little knowledge you've gathered, I trust that you guys would go ahead to, post some of your works and tag analytics online. Okay, it's one of the things you can also add as a portfolio. So with analytics, the imagine the number of projects you'll be working on. All right, scraping data from Amazon, scraping data from Google, scraping data from Facebook. All right, and thereafter you will have lifetime access to the materials and training resources. Lifetime access to the materials and also the training resources here at 10 Analytics. Okay, so now looking at the courses and the topics we'll be touching on with the program, you'll be getting close to 20 classes. All right, 20 classes and over 50 topics we would be diving into as a data engineer. All right, so and the average amount of a data engineer is 8 million naira, and this is not this figure, and to be very honest, and it's actually very unique that data engineers are one of the highest paying tech roles within the tech industry, because these guys are more like a lifesaver. They are more like the middleman, because without them, the guys, the data analysts, the data scientists would not be able to make use of data. So imagine now, he has been able to create, to draw this data from the website, and it then goes to keep it in a central warehouse where data analysts themselves would have to live on those data because they need data to survive. All right, the organization churns out thousands of data, right, in different sources. So as a data engineer, you scrape data from those sources and put them in a central warehouse, readily available for data scientists to make insight from data scientists to draw insight from them, from data analysts to make use of them, for business analysts, to make sense of those data, right? And with the program also, you get to add 10 projects to your portfolio. Like I mentioned, you are going to work with as much and many more projects within the training program. All right. So there is a high possibility with the data engineering program and even as a data engineer. Yeah. Organizations shun data on a daily basis, and the world is moving to a cloud based environment. Organizations are storing their data in cloud, and as a data engineer, you would also learn how to build cloud storages to store this this data. Okay, and the certificate with analytics is an industry relevant certification. And why do I say this? And I always tell persons that come to me for mentorship and even clarity. Yeah, with analytics, you are always right. Okay, and within the tech space, certificate or certification is just show that you've gone through a program. Yeah, but recruiters are hell bent on knowing if you know what you have gone through using this certificate. Yeah, what have you been able to do? Can you provide evidence of what you've learned? Okay, so if you do not know or you can't show to us what you've been able to do, then your certification is useless. And that's why with analytics, practicals is a very key aspect of what we do. Yeah, you're going to get your certificate. You're going to get it just to show proficiency in certain things. But what have you been able to do? And that's where those projects comes into the picture. Projects you'll be adding to your portfolio. Project like this gives you an edge and a leverage to other persons that are just learning, with no guidance, or let's say with no direction, or even without working on, project. Those persons that just go online to just learn courses and no. Do they have access to projects? No. Okay. So now the training program is 3 months of training. Okay. 3 months of training and some practicals and 2-month virtual internship. You see that the internship is actually very unique from every of our training programs. Some of the training program within analytics, some of them is 1, some of them 1. Yeah, I think that's this year 1. Then for other programs like data engineering and business analysis, you have up to 2-month virtual training, virtual internship. Yeah, and why is it going to be 2? Because we know that data engineering is a very complex career path. You need time to simulate as much real life experience. Yeah, and you're working on building a web project. And the unique thing about the internship is you are not just going to, be paired with just data engineers. Okay, you'll be paired with individuals that are coming from the data analytics training, individuals that are coming from the data science training, those guys coming from Scrum, you'll be, be paired together to work on a project for 2 months to simulate real world experience. So imagine you've gone through the training and then you are then onboarded into the internship. Trust me, you'll be a firebrand for any recruiter. All right. So now, how do I become a data engineer? First, with the curriculum, you'll be learning introduction to data engineering, like I mentioned to you guys. You do not need to have any prior experience. You do not need to graduate from an engineering background. Like I said, the first part is intro. We are going to wet the ground, okay? Wet the ground, give you a soft landing into data engineering, all right? Then we move on into Python and SQL, just like what you just did today, breaking it into bits and pieces, all right? Diving into the introduction to Python, diving into the introduction to SQL. Then we'll look at bash commands and version control using Linux and GitHub. Yeah, GitHub is where they would house majority of the project that you've worked on, your portfolios. Recruiters will always want to ask, what have you been able to do? Then you show up, your GitHub account. All right. So you learn data modeling. You need to be able to model this data. All right. Because of time, we just need to rush through this. Okay. Okay. Sorry. All right, so you learn pandas, you learn Apache Spark, you learn data extraction, you learn data cleaning and transformation. What you just did also was to clean data, transform them also. Also extract. So you guys did ETL within the short time. That's 1 hour 30 minutes. We did extraction, we did loading, and transformation, data transformation. All right. We also learn cloud computing using GCP and also AWS web services. We also learn AWS, that's Amazon Web Services, data pipeline, having to build data pipelines and orchestration, because in some business organization, data are stored in various sources. You should be able to, connect these data sources into a central warehouse, right? You need to be able to connect these, different data sources into a central warehouse that will be readily available for stakeholders to make use of. So at the end of the day, when you've gone through all these processes, down from the introduction to data engineering, to Python and SQL, then to Apache Spark, Pandas, data modeling, data cleaning and transformation, data extraction, data pipeline and orchestration, you become a master data engineer, right? And I will show you why you need to train with analytics. Why analytics? All right, very, very key. I will show you 4 steps, yeah, to why you need to train with us. 1, phenomenal achievement, helping people get jobs as a data engineer. I'm going to show you, if you wait to the end of the session, I'm going to show you 2 of our students that have been able to land jobs. There are more, but I'll just pinpoint those 2 guys that have been able to land jobs as a data engineer. Some got various offers, during and after the training program, right? Number 2 is industry standard facilitators and curriculum. Take a look at AE, moving from pharmacy to data engineering. The wealth of experience he has gathered over the years, working as a pharmacist, then transitioning into data engineering. So we have the best facilitators and up-to-date curriculum to serve you. All right. So we have blended training to accommodate every type of learning. Okay. So we are going to be combining 2 forms of learning: 1, the live classes, and 2, the watch me do it video. Just like what we did, what we are currently doing is called the live class, instructor learn. And also we call what we call the watch me do it video. Yeah. So we have a training, we work on practical sessions. So individuals, some persons are fast learners, some persons are slow learners. Yeah. We try to bridge that gap, try to make sure that everyone is even. We always provide watch me do it videos. So that watch me do it videos are bit videos, bite-sized videos that you can always get started in immediately after the live class has held. So you get to brush your memory, revise whatever has been taught. And number 4 is tailored sessions to position you to land your first job. All right, I will show you a layered approach we take into consideration, so that you would be able to land your first tech role before and even immediately after the training program, ranging from CV review sessions down to LinkedIn optimization, down to preparing you for interviews and also writing references for you. All right. So now, how do we position individuals for success in the job market? We use 3 layered approach. And I'll be showing you that within the next few minutes. Number 1 is the CV review sessions. Your CV is practically the online, your paper format of you. Okay. whatever you've been able to do over the past years, you should be able to brush them up into a one-pager, telling your recruiter who you are. All right? We'll walk you through how you can tailor your CV, your past experiences. Probably you've done pharmacy in the past, you've done accounting, then you want to then dive into data engineering. We'll be able to tailor your CV to fit the current career path you want to venture into. So LinkedIn optimization sessions, a lot of persons have been able to get jobs using LinkedIn. You need to be able to optimize your LinkedIn profile. So as a recruiter, I want to know what kind of online presence this individual has. So you've applied for this job, then I go online to check out what you've been able to do. And I do not see anything concerning data engineering, nothing of such on your platform. It's going to cause some so it's going to raise some eyebrows. All right. So you need to be able to brush up your LinkedIn profile. Your bio should speak well of who you are, and even what you post on your LinkedIn profile speak to the fact that you're a data engineer. If you go down to LinkedIn, type in hashtag analytics, you get to see the project that our students are doing. So it's always a weekly challenge. All right. Students make those posts immediately after they're done with their training program. Whatever project they've been able to work on, they get to post those stuff on their LinkedIn, because recruiters would always go back to check what your online representation is like. So for individuals that do not want to work the normal 9 to 5, we have what we call the Upwork optimization session. Right? So you want to freelance, you want to work on contract jobs, we would be walking you through Upwork. Upwork is one of the fantastic platforms where you can get remote job opportunities. You be in Nigeria, you work with companies in the US. You be in Nigeria, work with companies in the UK. Right? So number 4 is what we call the navigating the job market. Yeah, you'd agree with me that the way you approach the job market in Nigeria is actually very unique from the way you approach the job market in Canada and also in the US, because those environments has dynamics in terms of job application. Right? So we'll walk you through this process, bring in industry experts who are already doing what you want to do in those countries. Yeah. So you are looking at migrating into the US, and you are going to be learning as a data engineering, you're going to learn as a data engineer with analytics. Walk you through how you would face the job market in the US, how you face the job market in the UK, or probably you are currently in those countries and you need guidance on approaching the job dynamics in those countries. We would have sessions on that, navigating the job market. So we have what we call the job and interview preparatory sessions. So you've applied for jobs, and that's one thing we always say. The goal of the training is to ensure that you get a job, right? So during the course of the training program, we push students to start applying for jobs. So you are going to be, you'll be interfacing with a lot of recruiters within the process of you training with us and even after training with us, all right? And the idea we put in this number 5 is the job and interview preparatory session, so that once you get those interviews, you don't just present yourself to recruiters like that. You come through us, we fine-tune you, work on your practical bit, work on your technical bit, and ensure you are sound enough to go for your final interview. All right. So we prep you for those interviews. So try to tick all the boxes. The idea, one thing is to get that tech job. All right. So we write a recommendation and reference letter for our students to boast the fact that we trained you, you went through us, and we can attest to the fact that you were serving as a data engineer with our program. So if you go on LinkedIn, you get to see a lot of our students who make use of analytics as their employer, and something that we always tell our students to do. So immediately start spending with us, you change your bio on LinkedIn to data engineer at analytics. Then you list out the projects you would be working on, right? So when you finally get those jobs, recruiters would always reach out to us and say, this person stated that he served as a data engineer within your company. So what did he do? Can you attest to this individual's credibility? And we'll reference letter to those effects. And we've done that for thousands and thousands of our students that have been able to migrate and transition from the classroom to landing their first tech role. So level 2 is what we call the weekly mentorship sessions. All right. So we have sessions on a weekly basis. Even as of today, we're going to have, by 9 o'clock, we'll have a mentorship session with our students, right? So it's going to hold every week, because the best way to to bluster in terms of career growth within the tech spaces or anywhere learning from the experiences of others. So he has been able to go through, he was able to transition from pharmacy to data engineering. He has some levels of experience. He knows he has had some failures, right? So you do not want to fail the same kind of way he did years back, all right? So why don't you learn from his years of experience and, before you know it, you jump that hurdle when that hurdle is being presented to you, all right? So now we have what we got, we have what we call the on-the-job support, all right? So now you've gotten those jobs, and it's not always going to be easy settling down into these jobs, right? So you would need some guidance. We offer a 1 month on-the-job support for all our students. Yeah, we get to hold you into your job, and also wait till you can stand in your 2 feet with your new role. All right. So, and at the end of the day, the third level is what we call a guaranteed job interview. Yeah. Our promise to you is that you would be able to land an interview within the period of training with analytics. All right. And that's one of the key things we always, promise our students. There is going to be job interview for every of the students that go through analytics and completing that training with us. So yeah, so there are a few things that we added in the training program. We call it the Body Mentorship Hub. So with the Body Mentorship Hub is where alumni who have gotten jobs as data engineers and they went through the analytics training program, they come in to speak with you. Like I said, having to 10x your career growth in the tech space, you need to be able to learn from the experiences of others, right? So these persons will be coming in as body mentors to come walk you through the process. What were their failures? What do they think they would have done right? Yeah. And and some of the success stories that they would love to share with you as well. All right. So we have what we call the enhanced internship experience. Like I mentioned, we've increased the mentorship for the data engineering program and also the business analysis program to 2 months. And what will you be doing in these 2 months? Simulating real world experience. Yeah, you'll be working on a web application development project, including software developers, scrum masters, data analysts, data scientists within the internship process. Okay, so and we've also secured partnership with recruitment agencies, and that's why we can give you those guaranteed promise and say that upon completion of the training program, you get to have what we call an interview process, an interview with a recruitment agency in the UK, in Canada, and as well as other countries. All right. Okay, so now join our next cohort. The next cohort is going to start in May 4th, and last month we had we opened entry for individuals that will be coming in for the April cohort, right? So now the next cohort is going to be in May 4th, and there are prizes for the training program as displayed on your screen. We are giving a 33% off on all our trainings in the next cohort, right? If you are looking to get started as a data engineer within the analytics training program, ensure to latch on the first 30 discount for the early bird, right? We are giving out 33% discount for the first 30 persons that would be looking to get started with the training program. So instead of you making a payment of 900,000 naira, you are going to be making the payment of 600,000 naira, and you can pay that into installments, right? You pay some fraction of the money before the start of the program, and then your second installment would be paid a month into the training. All right. So by 30th of May, you should have completed the next batch of the installment. All right. You can see it's displayed on the screen. If you're paying in dollars, instead of making the full payment of $750, you'll be making a payment of $500. And that can be split into 2 installments, 350 and 150. If you're paying in Canadian dollars, you are making a payment of 1,125 Canadian dollars. And the discounted price is 750 Canadian dollars, right? And if you are making a payment in euros, 730 euros, and that's the discounted price also shown on the screen. We're making the payment in naira. We're making a payment of 600,000 naira as against 900,000 naira. All right. So now the training time for the data engineering program is Saturdays and on Sundays. Those are when we have the live classes, all right? The morning class would hold from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. West African time on Saturday. Or the guys in Canada, or let's say in North America, your joining time would be 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. 11 a.m. rather, Mountain Standard Time. All right. Then on Sunday is what we call the self-paced classes. That's the Watch Me Do It video. So we prepare you for the next practical sessions that will be coming up on Sunday. On Saturday rather. Yeah, this Watch Me Do It videos are being presented to you on Sunday. You get to understand the concept, get to understand the bits and pieces of what was taught on Saturday, that's the previous Saturday, and also what will be taught the next Saturday. The more of preparing you for those classes. Like I mentioned, those live classes are based on projects. We are coming on those live classes to walk you through a project and a case study. All right. So we're not coming here to just say stories. So on Sunday, we prepare you for the class ahead of Saturday. Then on Saturday, we have the live classes. So yeah. So if you would be participating with the program, ensure to latch in on this discount, right? Latching on the discount. So I will just quickly show you guys some of the testimonial videos, that success stories of students who have gone through the training program and landed jobs. All right. It always seems impossible, right? It actually always seems impossible until it is what? Done. All right. So I'll just share you. I have just two testimonial videos here. I'll actually play both of them, right? But I'll play Michael first. So Michael landed his first role as a data engineer in a software company in the UK, right? A sales engineer in a software company in the UK after completing what the data engineering training program, right? Michael was elated on how the mentorship and interview prep helped him land his job. And also, this is also at DBC. The unique story about DBC was DBC actually did two of our training programs, right? But first of all, he did the data engineering program and he landed the job with Jaguar Land Rover in the UK. And he worked as a data engineer with them, right? And he has currently secured another role as a senior analytics engineer within a company in the UK. You get to see it, in the video. I'm going to show you guys that video. Let's just play Michael. We'll play Michael and I'll come back to Idris at DBC. All right. So just give me a minute. Let this pop up. And yeah. Okay. So, all right. So I'll share Michael now so you can all see the video for Michael. All right. So yeah, this is it.
Hi, my name is Michael, and I'm going to be speaking about how Tanalytics helped me to secure my first tech role. So at the beginning of the year, I was looking at different places onto how to gain the skills that I needed in order to get into the industry that I wanted, which was data engineering. I, funny enough, came across Tanalytics through Instagram, and I signed up to attend their first taster session. And through their first taster session, they showed me everything about how the classes would go, how they'll teach you, how they'll guide you in securing your first tech role. They spoke about the different sectors, whether it was business analytics, data engineering, which I got into, and data analytics and so forth. So at first we joined a group, and that group we went through different classes. We were assigned a mentor to teach us each of the aspects of data engineering, from Python to SQL to cloud computing and so forth. I love the lessons because they gave us a good foundational knowledge of how to code, of how to know about the industry, and it made us understand that coding, data engineering is not as difficult as people, make it out to seem. So as we were going through the classes, we were given projects that we were able to make our own, and this gave us the skills and the confidence to go out there and start applying for jobs, which they encouraged. So once I started applying for jobs, I got invited to an interview from a company, and I spoke to my mentors at Tanalytics, and they guided me through the entire process, from speaking to the people at the company, the CEOs, to getting through the technical tasks. Not that they gave me all the answers, but they just guided me in the right way because I already obtained the skills through the classes and through the entire process. So happily enough, they helped me through that entire process, and I was able to be offered a role as a sales engineer at a software company. So what I'm going to be doing when I start the role is that when clients want to join and sign up to our software, I take their data and I integrate their data into our software using extract, load, and transform technique, which I learned through Tenalytics. So essentially taking their raw data, transforming it to be readable for the system and loading it into the software. And I just want to say thank you to Tenalytics through the support, through the classes, through the mentorships, because it was able to give me the skills that I needed along this course of the year and secure my first role in the tech industry. And I am very, very confident that if you was to join, it's going to benefit you just as much as it benefited me. Thank you.
Yeah, so fantastic. I really loved his speech on that. Yeah. What really caught my attention is it's just the same thing. Yeah. Just what you guys just did in the practical session today, extract, transform, and load, and that's basically what was asked in his interview session. All right. So, and it's like I said, we are preparing you to ensure that you get your first job in tech, and that's actually the goal. Okay, that's actually the goal. It's always impossible until it is done. And Michael has probably just showed you his experience. Yeah. So if you are ready to get started as a data engineer, ensure to be part of the first 30 persons to latch on the early bird discount. You can make your payment in 2 installments. All right. The first installment has to be made before the start of the class, and the second installment would be made a month into the training program. Yeah. So for last month, if you were part of us last month, you would see that we were doing the discount on 50%. But in this month, it's now 33%. You don't know what next month will be. So if you are waiting till next month, it might be lower than this. All right. So catching on the discount immediately and get started in tech. So let's just quickly listen to Idris. Yeah. So let's just quickly listen to Idris. And yeah, just a minute. So let me change this.
Hello everyone, my name is Idris. Hello everyone, my name is Idris. How I heard about Tenalytics was through a post on Instagram. So there was this ad. And I was interested in what I saw there. That made me decide to go through their website and see the curriculum they had. Going through the curriculum, I realized this was exactly what I was looking for, because I'm this kind of person. I very much love learning fundamentals when I'm diving into a new field. And this was exactly what Tenalytics is doing. They start from the fundamentals and build it up from there. That made me enroll into the program with them, and my learning experience throughout the program was very productive, because I gained a lot of concepts in my current role at the moment. Since finishing the program at Tenalytics, I've been able to secure a data engineering role at Jaguar Land Rover, and recently I just secured a new role as a senior analytics engineer. So my advice for anyone is, if you're having any doubts, or if you think, you need to delve into this field, I advise you to just go through the website, check on the courses there, and see what you're interested in, and start from there. Thank you.
Okay, that was very, very brilliant from Idris. Okay. I think background. So just give me a minute. Let me try to stop it. Yeah, good. All right. So I'm coming back here. Yeah, good. All right. So now there are a lot and lot of testimonial videos regards to training in analytics. Yeah. Like Idris at DBC mentioned, he came into analytics because he wanted to learn fundamentals. Yeah. That's what the training program is going to walk you through. The fundamentals of every of the concepts. Okay. The idea, keep that at the back of your mind to ensure that you get a job in tech. All right. So let's just go through some of the testimonial videos. And you get to see Nathaniel. Nathaniel joined the data engineering program. I also got a job as a business analyst. So we'll share this slide with you. So you can always have access to all of the testimonial videos and even the training resources. All right. So there are a lot and lot and lot of testimonial videos we can go through. You can always go through that with the slide that will be shared with everyone that has participated in this session up from the beginning down to the end. All right, so you can peruse through all these testimonial videos at your earliest convenience. All right, so there are a lot and lot of testimonial videos you can always go through. Okay, so I'll just quickly rush down to the pricing. Yeah, so some individuals that would want to take note of the pricing, we'll just go through the pricing once again. Okay, just right. So we just go through the pricing once again. So if you did not catch that, so ensure to take a snapshot of the training price and how you can make payment. I believe my colleagues too have also made a post on that on the chat on how you can secure the 33% discount. All right, ensure to grab this opportunity. So, all right, so if you have any questions and you'd love to ask on the call, please do that right away. I'll be willing to take any of our questions, and also Dr. A is also on the call. So let's just do that within the next 5 minutes. If you want to ask any question, please use the raise hand icon and you will be called up to ask a question. All right, so if you have any question on what we've done today, or on how, if you're having some doubts in terms of the training, just put up your hand, and within the next 5 minutes would end this session. Okay, let's see. All right, so let's see if you have any question. Ensure to use the raise hand icon. Would be glad to have you ask the question. So I'll be going through the chat now to see if there are some other questions that have been sent in the chat, and to see we would be able to. Ikechukwu, yeah, please. And Gbenga, can you please unmute Ikechukwu so he can ask his question? Yeah, hello, Ikechukwu. I think you've been unmuted. So let me ask you to unmute. So I've asked you to unmute. You could probably just unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good.
So my question is, I came from a background of I had seen the advert. It was a friend of mine that invited me to this, so I had seen the advert. But it tends to be more of inclined towards AWS. But then my background is mostly Microsoft and Azure. So my question is, during the training program, while I understand that most cloud architectures are like very similar, are we going to also touch on Azure, or just strictly AWS and Amazon like AWS? So that's
okay,
my question.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, hey, are you on the call?
Sorry, are you asking me or your?
No, I'm trying to refer. So he's on the call. I would want him to drop in his comments on that. Let me see if he's on the call. So he drives the data engineering program. So yeah, so for what you'll be doing with the training program, and like I showed you on the screen, you'd also be doing using GCP. I don't know if you heard about GCP too as well. It's related to,
yeah, I know GCP.
Yeah, exactly. So that, I think that's the one we will be using throughout the training program. All right, we might not use even AWS for the training. Okay, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be using,
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, so
yeah.
for okay, don't worry. I can ask the question much later on. Maybe not here.
All right. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So if you would, that's totally fine. You might also want to just shoot me an email if you want to take the question away from here. I'll be sending in my email in the chat. You could probably just send me an email and I'll follow up from there. All right? Does that work, Ikechukwu? I think Ikechukwu is out. Okay, good. All right. So
yeah, it works. I was muted back. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Hey, okay, do you want to drop in some thoughts on that? I don't know if you caught Ikechukwu's question.
No, can you just go over the question briefly?
Okay, so my question is, so which stack is it going to be? Because I'm more of an Azure guy than
So currently
AWS and GCP.
for the cloud tech, we'll be using Azure and GCP.
Beautiful.
Coming
Okay.
course will be GCP. So that's the cloud stack.
Okay, you said Azure and GCP, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. No problem. I'm signing up.
All right. Okay, that's very, very spot on, Ikechi. That's fine. We look forward to seeing you in class, honestly, and ensure to be part of the first 30. And once the first 30 slot is filled, we'd have to wrap up and close up the training. Yes, so I would want to just quickly show us a bit of what the classroom looks like. I think some of us would really want to know how does the analytics training happen? Okay, I'll just do that within the next 2 minutes, and I'll show everyone how it works. So I'll share my other screen. Just give me a minute. I'll share my other screen. So we would get to see how do we take this training. Yeah. So for the blended learning process we talked about, so how does it work? How does it basically just a minute, I will be pulling that up shortly. You can also get to see that. All right. So a minute, pulling this up on my screen. Wow. So please, if you have further questions, ensure to ask them in the chat, and I'll be willing to, answer all of your questions. So we'll do this within the next 2 minutes here, and we would exit the call. It's already very, very late in the night, especially we here in Nigeria. Okay. All right. So I would share this part of my screen so you can just see. This is what it looks like to be training with analytics. All right. So this, I'll just go through one of the previous training program. Okay. One of the previous training program. This is data engineering cohort. This November cohort. So we'll just look at, let's look at most recent cohort. This is 2024 January. So let's get to see what they've been able to do in this class. Okay. Let's get to see what they've been able to do in this class. Okay. So since January till date, what have they been able to do? So yeah, immediately you get access into your welcome kit. You get access here. You get to get your welcome kit, onboarding materials, data engineering curriculum, navigating the Google Classroom, PostgreSQL installation video, and Conda installation. Right? Like I mentioned, all of what this will be provided to you. How you download the softwares will be provided to you. Just as I showed you on the screen, introduction to data engineering. All right, you get an article assignment, okay, you get a class recording, and you also get the class logins. This comes first. Then you can see the timestamp, January 5. There was a class recording, class LDA. That's why you see the class logins. Then immediately the next day, the recording is being provided. And on the same day, you have an assignment to deliver by January 19th. Okay, so now week 1, Python basis. You have a class on Python, having to unfold you through learning process in Python basis. So this is the class recording, has also been uploaded on the platform. So you do not miss any of the training let's say you probably were not available at a point in time. You do not miss those training programs. All right. So if you always want to go back to the videos, you will always get access to them in your classroom. Okay. So we have what we call the Watch Me Do It video. Like I mentioned, after the live classes, you get access to the Watch Me Do It video. See, the first part is what? Python basics, data types, part 1. Okay. You get to see all of these videos. Yeah. After you've had your live classes, you get access to bite-sized videos, right? Number 1, getting started in Python, integer and float, variable assignments, strings, print formatting 2, lists, dictionaries, tuples, sets, and bowling. All right. So now these are bite-sized videos. You have introduction to data engineering. What is data? What is big data? 5 B's of big data. What is data engineering? Data engineering continued, data storage, a lot. SQL versus no SQL. You see data types, data formats, data injection, data pipeline, data design. All of the videos will be provided to you. Okay. So week 2, right? So we did some, like I made mention of. The what we did video is to prepare you for the live class the following week. All right. You get to see that this is Python basis. We were giving this video when last week Sunday to prepare us for this class on Saturday. So we're then going to have a live class on Python data types. We then work on a class material. And so this is the class material, a real life case study, like I made mention of. Data engineering week 2, case study. Okay, this is a case study on Python data types. What we were giving videos on last week, to just go prepare ahead, because like I said, the live class is to work on practicals. We're not coming here to come and speak Spanish or speak stories. To work on practical projects. Okay, so this is the practical material. There are 2 materials there. You can view them. Okay, and after the class, the recording will always be provided for you. Okay, next day you also have a class material. Okay, you have class material. There's a case study, comparison operators, loops, and functions. Okay, so now this is the Watch Me Do video, preparing you for what the next class on Saturday. Like I made mention of, every of the live classes are what? Practical based. Okay, you get to see class material, what you'll be working on. These are the projects you'll be working on. Let's just get to open one of the case studies you would be working on, right? So let's just see. So introduction to SQL, learning objectives. What is SQL? Database, history of databases, histories of databases, relationship database, data view, and this is basically the class material, and you'd also see the use case. Okay, there's a scenario here, then define what was in that scenario. Okay, so and all of everything you'll be doing within the program is detailed in each of the materials you will be learning. All right. So, and that was an SQL project. You come here to then see your case study, right? So this is the case study material. Same thing with SQL basics. Watch me do a video, then come to have a practical session on SQL, right? Data modeling case study. Everything we showed you in that slide is what will be taught in your training program. All right. So you get to see that. Just I don't know. This is actually the best place to be very honest. Yeah, bit by bit, grounding you from a novice level to an advanced level. Like I was saying to every one of us. So go on LinkedIn, type in analytics, or use hashtag analytics or hashtag 90 days of consistency. So from the start of the program, you begin to push out content as a data engineer on your LinkedIn profile. Okay, this is the analytics job application tracker. Track your job application here. Okay, you apply for jobs. Like I said, during the training program, you begin to apply for these jobs. You get to track the jobs you applied for. You get to book interview preparatory sessions to ensure that you land your job. So these are the mentorship sessions, right? So you can see from interview simulation session we did, for the students, you have mentorship session, body mentorship session, where we brought in individuals like Michael and Idris who have gotten a job as a data engineer, coming to share their success and failures with you too as well. All right. So now you see sit and start approach is also part of the mentorship you would be having within the training. Okay. Targeted strategies for job search, applying for job as a data engineer. What recruiters look out for when scouting data engineers. Q&A questions with a recruiter in the UK. These sessions held in the period of them training with analytics. So how many jobs should you apply to, right, during the training? So those are sessions we'll be having. We'll also have salary negotiation and recording. This is a recording, right? It happened, but we have to then upload the recording session under the mentorship session. So these are, and it's not about you going to watch recording. They are live sessions, just like me speaking to you, just like he also speaking to you. Okay. Like I said, part of the 3-layered approach, we have the CV review sessions. Okay, you get to see this here. CV review sessions, CV templates, CV recordings. you miss the LinkedIn optimization session, you'd always get access to the recordings, Upwork optimization sessions, and many more. All right. So if you want to get started in tech and you would want to latch on that discount, ensure to do that right away. I'll be presenting that once more time before I call it a day from my end. Okay. Take a screenshot, take a screen grab, or use the comment section. My colleagues are posting in the account details and how you can make payments, right? And I look forward to seeing you guys in class. I believe it is safe. We draw the curtain on this note. All right, cheers, and do have a lovely day, everybody. Cheers.